So there are a lot of Disney restaurants that are fantastic, and there are a few that are almost awesome with just a few little drawbacks that I think you need to know about before you plan your trip, and these may surprise you. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today we're going to talk about a bunch of my favorite restaurants, your favorite restaurants, that have one or two little drawbacks that you probably need to know about before you book them. We can help you solve the problems that these restaurants pose and still go to them and have a great time planning ahead for these things. So let's get started. Number one, Chef Mickey's. We talk about Chef Mickey's a lot. Chef Mickey's is on our must-do list because everyone's going to tell you to go there. Chef Mickey's is in the Contemporary Resort. It's a quintessential must-do at Disney World. Everyone's telling you to go there, and it's almost a rite of passage to kick off your first Disney trip. But there are actually several drawbacks to Chef Mickey's, which keep us from making it our number one character meal, or even our number 2 or 3 or 4 character meal, to be fair. So first of all, it's smack dab in the center of the Contemporary Resort atrium, and since it's topping everyone's must-do list, it is loud and crowded. Now, if you're able to snag a reservation when it first opens or towards the end of a meal period, you might have a little less in the crowd department, but short of flipping tables a little more slowly, we don't see this improving anytime soon. It's crowded. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of kids, and it is very, very busy. Believe me, I've been twice in the past month for some reason. I know what the reason is. It's my 6-year-old, but I have been twice, and that's not by choice. So I can attest to the fact that it is still very loud and very crowded. So that's something to consider if you don't like super packed restaurants, or if you've got someone who's maybe sensitive to loud noises and things like that. So Disney World's been making huge strides in their buffet food quality. So let's talk about food. Chef Mickey's historically has not been great in the food department. It's getting a little bit better. They've got a lot of kind of fresher, almost made to order seasonal options, but there's nothing really earth shattering. You're still gonna have kind of that dried out pasta and dried out chicken tenders and the kind of limp salads. It's all kind of what you'd expect at a Disney character buffet. So there's nothing earth shattering going on here in the food department, unless if you go for breakfast, they do have that super cute Mickey waffle sundae bar, which is fun. But again, nothing earth shattering in the food department. So that's something else to be prepared for. You're paying a lot of money for not great food. And so that money is basically going towards atmosphere, which is loud and crowded, and lots of times it's hard to keep up with the mess. And also the character interaction. So let's talk about the character interaction. Now you've got the Fab Five. You've got Minnie, Mickey, Donald, Pluto, and Goofy over there at Chef Mickey's. And with the size of this restaurant and how packed it is, you're really only gonna see them one time. And because of the way they seat people, this is an interesting way that they seat folks in these giant character meals. They kind of seat each section in a group. So what you'll find is you'll sit in the waiting area and they'll call all of you at once, and they'll seat all of you in one section so that the characters kind of go through that section. But you never know when those characters are going to come, and they can either come right when you sit down, or you're going to be waiting a long time to see them. And so there are many, many times that I've eaten at this particular restaurant where I've waited 30 minutes to see one character. They haven't gotten over there. Now, once they get over there, they go pretty quickly because, like I said, they tend to go through seating areas sort of all together one by one. But if the restaurant's really busy and you were kind of seated strangely, then you're not going to see those characters for 30 to 40 minutes sometimes. You'll either see them in the first 5 minutes that you sit down, or it's going to take a long time. So that's generally been my experience with the characters. Same thing happened at 1900 Park Fair and several other character meals. So those big crowded ones, that's kind of going to be your experience. And if you've got little kids who are just dying to meet those characters, that can be a very stressful time for you and your kids. So that's something to take into consideration as well. Prepare them in advance and say, hey, Mickey might not get over here until after we're done eating. So just, sit still, be chill, right? Now, as always, just a quick note, if you really just need to meet Mickey at a character meal, I can always recommend Garden Grill over there in Epcot. It's really, really good food. It's family style food, which means they bring your food to you. You don't have to get up and go to a buffet. buffet, which on my last visit to Chef Mickey's, I was alone with my 6-year-old. So that was really hard because, I had to bring him up to the buffet with me. We had to do our thing and then leave all our stuff at the table. So it's like, do you leave your wallet at the table? Is it safe? What do you do? So that's a huge hassle. So Garden Grill, they bring your food to you, and then the restaurant's really small. And so we saw the characters like 5 times each. We saw them all. So, if what's important to you guys is seeing the characters quickly, then, Garden Grill is better in basically every single aspect against Chef Mickey's. Okay, so back to Chef Mickey's. This one's a great option for families who like that high energy, may have some super picky eaters. If you're looking for something quieter or generally aren't a fan of buffet food, though, this one is not going to be for you. And if you have kids who can't be patient and can't wait to see those characters, which I know a lot of us do have those kids, so just think about that ahead of time. All right, spent 7 minutes on Chef Mickey's. Let's move on here. Crystal Palace, another character meal. A lot of the same issues here that you're going to find at Chef Mickey's. So this is over in the Magic Kingdom, and it has one of the best opportunities here because you get to meet the Winnie the Pooh and Friends characters. So you get to meet Winnie and Piglet and Eeyore and Tigger over here at Crystal Palace. So what's cool about this restaurant is location and convenience. You're right in the middle of Magic Kingdom, so it's super easy to, pop over here during your first day at Disney World in the Magic Kingdom. And if you get that super early pre-park opening reservation, that means you get to go into the park before everybody else and get those great nobody on Main Street photos of the castle. Super, super cool. Also, when you're done eating here, you can probably be the first in line for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or Splash Mountain or whatever you want to ride next. So a lot of benefits to this restaurant, and that's why we love it. But like I said, Crystal Palace suffers from the same negatives as Chef Mickey's. It's super popular and it's huge, meaning it's going to be super crowded and loud, and that buffet needs to please a lot of different people with different tastes. So again, you might not get as much time with the characters as you would at a smaller or less popular character meal, but since this is the only place you can see Pooh, Tigger, Eeyore, and Piglet, well, it may be something that has to go on your list. So really, the things holding this restaurant back from being awesome are how loud it is, how huge it is, so it's really sort of overwhelming, and then the food itself. So again, there are a few non-standard buffet items here, but nothing spectacular, nothing great. There is some puffed French toast at breakfast, which is pretty good. But again, I think my standards are already pretty low for this one to, be super excited about the puffed French toast. So you're going to wait a long time to see the characters. The food's not great. It's a buffet, so you've got to bring everybody up there. So those are the major drawbacks and the things keeping this restaurant from being completely awesome. All right, Santa Angel Inn. Now this one is tough because it's in one of the coolest settings. It's basically Disney World's Blue Bayou, if you guys are Disneylanders, but make it Mexican. So you're inside the pyramid at Mexico, under a night sky as you watch boats from the Grand Fiesta Tour sail by. So it's got awesome ambiance. It's right at the front of the World Showcase, so you don't have too far to walk from the front entrance of the park. But a few negatives to this one. The tables are packed in, so if you're dining during a peak time, you're going to be right next to your neighbor. And if you want a little more space, that might not be possible unless you dine very early or very late, or wait for one of those water tables right next to the water where you've got the water next to you and then you've got, your neighbors really close on the next side. But those tables are really packed in there. Also, the food is not so great, or at least it's very inconsistent. I've heard from some people that they've had a great meal there. I personally have been there several times and it's been super inconsistent. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's really awful. So you just never know what you're going to get here. Same thing with the service. The service can be very hit or miss here at this restaurant. So again, those things are definitely keeping it from being awesome. Now remember, you do have some really decent Mexican food options elsewhere in the pavilion. You've got Hacienda de San Angel just across the way, which also has great fireworks views. So that one is probably going to be our most recommended restaurant in the Mexico pavilion for sure. Now we've had some excellent meals here at San Angel Inn in the past, and we're going to always give it another try, but food quality, service, and those tables just being packed together are things that really draw back from this restaurant. Okay, next one we're going to talk about Woody's Lunchbox. So everything about Toy Story Land is adorable. There's so many little details in the land, and Woody's Lunchbox fits in perfectly with those Baby Bell cheese seats. However, there's not quite enough of those Baby Bell cheese seats, and that's one of the things that's causing this restaurant to not be awesome. Did no one expect people to love this place? Why is there no seating? We're always seeing people walking around hunting for a table, and that's just stressful. You don't need more stress in your Disney World trip. So the next thing that's problematic about Woody's is it's right outside, so hot, rainy, cold, whatever's happening out there is happening on you. And for such a popular land, honestly, it's kind of more popular than Galaxy's Edge right now because there are 3 great rides versus 1. It needs an indoor dining location, which it thankfully will have soon. But Woody's right now, it's outside and there's no seating, so there's 2 strikes against it right there. Now, there are some great food items here, and that's what we love about it. The menu is tasty and it's super kid-friendly, and it's fun and themed. So grab-and-go items like the lunchbox tarts, plus more substantial dishes like that gooey s'mores French toast, super sweet, so good as a shareable. The grilled cheese, the tacho bowls, it's all comfort food with a twist, and it's all good and unique. So those are things we love here at DFB Guide. So you really can't go wrong with anything on the menu unless you'd like to enjoy it sitting down with some AC, because that's probably not an option for you when it comes to Woody's Lunch Pops. Now, they are getting a table service restaurant in Toy Story Land, so you'll soon be able to get the atmosphere and a guaranteed seat, but you'll need to budget your time a little differently in Hollywood Studios if you're opting for the full sit-down meal. That'll be coming soon, so stay tuned. Okay, Docking Bay 7, also in Hollywood Studios. So unfortunately, it seems that Galaxy's Edge won't be saving Hollywood Studios from being the food desert of Disney World. We had high hopes, but we were kind of disappointed in what we found at Docking Bay 7. Now, Satuli Canteen and Animal Kingdom's Pandora nailed the alien planet dishes while somehow still making them healthy, tasty, with decent portion sizes. But Docking Bay 7 definitely missed that mark for us. Nothing's exceptionally galactic unless you consider rectangular chicken or tip-yip to be otherworldly, and all the entrees are pretty earthly in everything but name, and there's nothing at this restaurant that we're really craving seconds of, which is unfortunate because the space is awesome and a great spot to grab some AC in a land where even the shops have lines. But we do love the outdoor seating area back behind the restaurant and kind of wish it was our backyard. So, there's pros and cons to Docking Bay 7, but I was really hoping to crave that food a little bit more than I do. All right, let's go to Coral Reef. Coral Reef in Epcot is like the ultimate restaurant that's almost awesome. You're dining next to the world's largest aquariums. It's super, super cool. It's great for families with little kids. They love watching all of that sea life go by. It's really cool, but the menu just can't match up to the atmosphere here yet. It's a fish-heavy menu, which is either complimentary to the location or kind of weird, depending on how you look at it. So you're already not going to be pleasing the picky eater here, but there's nothing truly spectacular on the menu either, and many items are kind of overpriced in our opinion. So there's already a focus on fresh, sustainable foods here, so there's a potential to have more upscale and thought out dishes to match those prices. So a few tweaks to the menu would make a huge difference here. Again, the atmosphere is great, but the menu's just not quite where we want it to be for that price point, and so that's what's keeping it from being awesome. All right, let's talk about Ohana. And I know you guys think I think Ohana is the best, and it is the best. I really do enjoy it, but there are some major drawbacks to Ohana that you need to know about. So, ambiance is nice and relaxing. Appetizers and dessert are incredible, and here we're talking about dinner specifically, Ohana dinner. Appetizers and dessert are great. The view of the fireworks is awesome. We love that they have little games that the kids can play in the middle. They've got that live entertainment. So that's a great way to start your vacation, really, is, get a fruity drink at Ohana with your whole family, and it's really nice. Now, most of the food is great. Like I said, the appetizers and dessert, awesome. But like any Disney World restaurant, everything can be pretty hit or miss. Now, we've had amazing meals here at Ohana, and we've had meals that left a lot to be desired. So overall, it's a popular restaurant, meaning it's very crowded, meaning service may be alternately way too fast because they're trying to turn those tables over really quickly, or way too slow because there's too many people and they're not able to handle that crowd. So dishes may come out a little lackluster either way. Overdone meat is a big problem here, where you're just like gnawing on it and chewing on it because it's way overdone. That's happened all too often for me at Ohana. Also, if you've got vegetarians or people who aren't big meat eaters, there's not a lot of options here. So this is a family style dining situation. Your menu is set and your options are pretty much meat, and more meat when it comes here. It's a lot closer to like a churrascaria than it is to anything else. So if you do have vegetarians in your group, be sure to tell the server so that the chef can come out and create create something for them specifically that's going to suit their needs. Now, it is a lot of food and priced accordingly, which makes it an awesome option for those on the Disney dining plan if you like what's being served. However, with a few more options, don't take away those noodles, and a little consistency, this could be one of the best restaurants in Disney World because of everything else it has going for it. So it is almost awesome. All right, and let's talk about Tiffins over in Animal Kingdom. So it was really exciting to get a signature restaurant in Animal Kingdom. Tiffins has a very cool ambiance and decor. You're basically dining amongst the inspiration for the entire Animal Kingdom park. And it's the Imagineer's private collection, sort of feels that way. And the attention to detail, like the rest of the park, is really stunning. Now, the menu is unique and delicious. However, it's slightly too big for its britches, and that's the main problem here. The food is too expensive and portions are too small. So this certainly isn't a restaurant that's super accessible for many theme park goers. Even if you're into exotic food, some of the menu items might be a little out there or not done well enough to meet your expectations. That being said, even the dishes we weren't necessarily excited to try turned out to be some of the most delicious things we've eaten on property in terms of quality and care and preparation. So again, it's going to be hit or miss. So look at that menu and make sure that it's the right menu for your group. So it's almost awesome, but not quite. And it's certainly not geared towards the whole family unless you have very adventurous eaters. So the menu's pretty niche here, and if you're looking for crowd-pleasing options, this might not hit the mark for you, so be considerate of that with Tiffins. And finally, let's talk about Jiko, Le Cellier, and Cali Grill, California Grill. Now, these three restaurants are all incredible. Jiko's over in Animal Kingdom Lodge, Le Cellier is in Epcot, and California Grill is in the Contemporary Resort. And these are almost always considered at the top of our list of fine dining locations. They're great. You can usually get adequate to great food here and adequate to great service, which for Disney World is honestly saying a lot, as like we said, most places are completely hit or miss. The only consistent thing about Disney World restaurants, as I always say, I should get this embroidered, is that they are inconsistent. So it's really impressive to find restaurants that are delivering decent quality time and again. Now, ambiance is very nice at all three, except for one thing. You are packed in there, right up against the table next to you. Banquet seating is not my favorite, and this may just be me getting on my soapbox. Maybe you guys don't care about this, but nobody wants to be that close to their neighbor when they're spending $100 per person on food. So Disney, spread out the tables a little bit. When I'm having a romantic anniversary dinner, I don't want Jim and Nancy like on top of me. Like maybe you guys like Jim and Nancy. Maybe you want to meet the people that are eating next to you. I don't. I want to spend time with the person that I'm with, but I'm a super introvert. So again, maybe this is just me on my soapbox. But if you want to mitigate this a little bit, you want to go to these restaurants, but you don't want to sit at that banquet seating, then dine early or late or request a table by the window or off to the side of the room. They should be able to accommodate that if you're not dining at a very, very busy time. And even if you arrive a little bit earlier than your reservation, they still should be able to accommodate that. So again, maybe that's just a personal pet peeve that I have, but if I'm spending a lot of money for a meal, I want it to be a comfortable atmosphere for me. I want it to be something where I'm not literally right up next to the people that are eating next to me. So that's how I mitigate that, and that's one of the only things keeping these restaurants from being awesome. So hopefully that helps you guys plan. And if you're going to these great restaurants, you can kind of know the drawbacks and plan ahead to avoid those drawbacks. I'm not saying don't eat at these restaurants. You should definitely eat at these restaurants, but be aware of kind of the niggling, annoying things about them and how to make sure that your family has the best possible experience there based on those. So thanks for listening and thanks for watching, you guys. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.